Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Wolverine 50 years anniversary pack of Patch and Joe Fixit. So here we can see the packaging. We got the Wolverine there. We got logo up at the top. I got my set from GameStop, by the way. Amazon has shipped some out as well. Patch artwork there on that side. We got the Joe Fixit artwork there on that side, so you can just kind of take a look at see them there together. The bio for this set reads, undercover as his alter ego Patch, Wolverine cons Joe Fixit into helping him take down the crime lords of Madripoor. So, not the first Gray Hulk that we've gotten, or the first Joe Fixit that we got. We actually had a kind of a reissue, kind of a new one, Walmart exclusive last year, and then we also had the Build-A-Figure from the Avengers game, you know, the year before that or whatever it was. So we got a couple of Joe Fixits. We got a couple of Gray Hulks as well. I don't have... I brought this one out, and I'm trying to think of where all these Gray Hulks came from, and I don't remember this one, how this one was released, if it was released on its own or if it was in a 2-pack. I'm truly losing my mind on that. There was a different Gray Hulk that was the fan channel exclusive retro carded version, and for whatever reason, I can't place this one. And I don't know why. I don't remember how... There's too many Marvel Legends figures as part of the problem. I don't remember how this one released. The next clip, I'm going to have it because I will have searched it and looked it up. I thought I knew, but clearly I did not. So we have Joe Fixit, Gray Hulk. And then here we have another Joe Fixit figure. I don't know that this one was all that necessary, but it does recreate that artwork, that cover. So that's kind of cool from that standpoint there. In terms of Wolverine Patch, we did not get a Patch figure necessarily. We had the Ultimate Riders Wolverine figure that came with like a Patch head sculpt. It was basically, you know, typical Wolverine head sculpt. With an eye patch on there. I didn't bring out the whole figure to show you guys, but I have this one here and I will pop it on there, see how it looks, but so you can see a side-by-side comparison on how much better those are compared to what this is. Not that this is terrible, but it's just not as good as what we are getting now. So let's go ahead and get these figures out of the package and take a look. Okay, so here is the Patch figure and the Hulk figure out of the Joe Fixit figure out of the package. And as you can see, you really cannot get the two figures in kind of the pose from that cover. They just can't, because they can't cross arms or do any of that stuff, so it doesn't really work. Is it a fun, interesting 2-pack? Yes. Is it an easy pass type of 2-pack? Yes, because it's something very specific. And then, you know, how many people want to have these particular versions, you know, in their collection? I'm not sure, but it's a kind of a fun one if you think about it. You know, it's a pretty recognizable cover art, and if we're going to talk about, you know, 50 years of Wolverine, you want to do stuff that's going to be recognizable, and I instantly think, you know, this particular these particular looks right here are very recognizable for Wolverine and Joe Fixit as well. It just seems like a whole lot of Joe Fixit coming out at a time. We're going to take a look at these figures one by one. We'll take a look at the Wolverine first, then we'll go into the Joe Fixit and do kind of those side-by-side comparisons. So here we go. Okay, so here we have a closer look at the head sculpts for Patch, and I think they look pretty good. I think the tricky thing is people wanted like more of an angry face. We get two of essentially very similar head sculpts. Here we have a little bit of a grin on him. He looks pretty good. He's got his pointy ass hair kind of going off and flaring off to the sides there. Looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and swap this one out. We're going to pop that one on. And this is the one that's actually on the figure out of the package. As you can see, a little bit more stoic, not necessarily an angry face, not really a sad face, just kind of straight face there, as you can see. And then for shits and giggles, I have the eye patch version of the Ultimate Riders version of Wolverine on here, and it kind of goes on there, but doesn't look great. I want to say it's not like terrible, but as you could see, you know, the figures, you know, with the digital print and everything, they kind of look a little bit more realistic looking. So big difference between the head sculpts. Not that this one's bad, it's just a little bit dated, and these ones, in my opinion, just look a whole hell of a lot better. So we're going to be done with this particular head sculpt, and let's go with the grin one. I like the grinning one. That one looks pretty good in my opinion. So he is wearing a tuxedo, white jacket tuxedo. As you can see, he's got the black bow tie on there, the white jacket. It is fully pinless. He's got the suit legs, the tuxedo legs. It is pinless. I believe these are new legs. I looked to see if these were the same as like the Hammerhead and like the Happy Hogan legs. They are not. They are in fact different. So you know, that's interesting because they obviously had to make him shorter, so he's definitely shorter, so that is kind of nice. The torso setup, I guess, where the neck is a separate piece in there, but it's not like it's going to be removable. As you can see, the heads kind of pop off there, but looks pretty good in terms of the tuxedo. So we have that there. For accessories, he comes with an extra set of hands. So just like Hulk comes with an extra head and extra hands, Patch comes with an extra set of fists. So he's got the clawed hands. These are the nice ones that were originally, I guess, the Logan hands. And I forgot all about that when I had reviewed... which Wolverine was it? I reviewed a Wolverine figure, and I think it was the one... It was another 2-pack version, the one with Sabretooth. These are those same claws, so it's the Logan movie version claws, and they are really nice. And then we actually have extra set of fists. So those are the accessories for Patch Wolverine. Let's go ahead and check out his articulation now. Okay, so he head is on a dumbbell joint, so he's only going to be able to look up so much, as you could see there. Looking down is not really so much an issue, as you could see there. Full rotation in the head sculpt, and you do get some pivot on there with that dumbbell joint, so that is pretty good. The arms, you can get the arms to go straight on out like so. Full rotation in that shoulder, as you could see. You got the upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless elbow. Whoopsie, stabbing himself in the face. Double jointed pinless elbow there. It is a thicker sleeved arm, so as you can see, the elbow breaks up a little bit. It's not as ugly as we've seen some before, so it is a little bit of improvement, but just a heads up on there. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on all the hands. Both claws popped and no claws on there. What do we got going on in here? It doesn't look like a ball joint, although I feel like I'm getting him to tilt. Maybe it is a ball joint. That would be something, wouldn't it? Oh, no, it's a diaphragm. So he's got a diaphragm cut in there. It's kind of funky because the jacket is not something that you can just kind of open up and whatnot. It is glued together. You could just kind of pop that glue probably. But he's got an upper diaphragm in there, so you could tilt to his left a little bit. You can tilt to the right a little bit there, not a whole lot. Going back is really not going to help because the jacket, it kind of goes down a little bit, so it's really not going to help. Coming forward is really non-existent either. There is a waist swivel in there too, so it's weird that we get the waist swivel and the diaphragm cut because they become redundant when they're in there, so just a heads up on that. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward that far only. The leg doesn't really go back. You got an upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee, so you get that much bend there at the knee. Thicker legs with the pant legs, so kind of an ugly bend there. There's no calf swivel, but the ankle does have a swivel in there, so the ankle swivels. You can hinge down a little bit as the foot kind of fits in the pant leg a little bit, not a whole lot. You can hinge up a little bit, not a whole lot. You got ankle pivot a little bit, not a whole lot, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So not the most dynamic of poses, but he is also, in a tuxedo. So there we go. Okay, so I wanted to show several different Logans, Wolverines, kind of how we have it here. So here, these three are the ones from our Wolverine 50-year 2-packs. Woo! It's getting late. We got the Logan from the Sabretooth 2-pack. We got the Brood-infected Wolverine from the Lilandra 2-pack. And then here we have the Patch from the Patch and Joe Fixit 2-pack. This particular Wolverine is just, I really like this Wolverine, so I brought it out to kind of show you guys a little bit of size comparisons. They're all about the same height, so Wolverine's getting a lot of love with new parts, new pieces, and things like that. Like this particular version having that new upper torso, and then this particular version having a new suited body to fit a shorter, stockier individual. Not sure where else they can use these parts. I'm sure they can figure it out. I'm sure they have future plans in mind. But to me, it does seem like a little bit of an odd choice. So who knows? There is one more Wolverine, of course, and that's going to be the Psylocke 2-pack version, as you can see there. Well, you can't see his head, but that version there will be the next review, so we can see all the different Wolverines. Lots of Wolverines. There's going to be more Wolverine to come this year also, so it's not just those ones. We also have the Fantastic Four 2-pack featuring Spider-Man and Wolverine. That's going to be an exciting one that I'm really looking forward to, but here we go for Wolverines. Okay, Joe Fixit, here we go. 2 head sculpts. This one's kind of the more angry, yelling head sculpt there. He kind of looks like, what I don't want to be mean. He looks kind of dumbish, so it's similar to the Hulk that we got in the Bruce Banner 2-pack as part of the Avengers 60th anniversary that just released last year. So that is the two Hulk versions, Gray Hulk versions that we got. But here we have this particular version of Joe Fixit, as you can see there. We get the other head sculpt. Let's pop that off. Let's put this one on there. This one's more of the stoic, straight face look. Yeah, that popped on there. And there we have it. I actually think this head sculpt looks a little bit better than kind of the angry version. It's kind of nice because you get the open mouth, so you got the tongue in there, then his teeth painted white and everything like that. I just kind of like this, the way this one looks in the eyes a little bit more. We get some blue shading throughout the hair, as you can see on both, and that looks pretty good. But to me, I like this one a little bit more. You guys let me know down in the comments below your thoughts on that. So similar with Patch here, he's got a white tuxedo jacket and white shirt, black bow tie. His pants, though, aren't as black as Wolverine's. Oh, I guess it's similar, just in the larger color. It comes off looking like more of a really dark gray as opposed to a black in color. I'm not really sure the reason for that. But that's just kind of the way it comes out looking. And then he's got the black shiny shoes there. So not a whole lot going on with Joe Fixit. Because to be honest with you, we essentially have the same figure released a few times. So let's go ahead and get into the articulation. And we'll do the side-by-side comparisons with the other Joe Fixit figures. Okay, so Joe Fixit's articulation. The head is on a dumbbell joint, so he can look around a little bit. He can look up that much. He can look down that much there, full side to side, and then you get some pivot kind of going on in there. The shoulder, you can only get to go out that much. There's, oh, you pop that off. This was a former Build-A-Figure piece, so of course it's going to have kind of that motion to where you can actually remove that. So the arm is only going to come out a little bit. Full rotation in there, of course. Single jointed elbow with the swivel at the elbow. That much bend there, just about 90 degrees. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on all the hands. So both the fists and the open hands that he comes with. And I forgot to mention that. He has the trigger finger hand because the other one, the Walmart exclusive deluxe, had the enlarged Tommy gun that he came with. And then he just kind of has the open left hand there. I forget what is he on. He's got, there's some kind of movement. Maybe there's not. There's no diaphragm. There's no ab crunch. So there's no real movement in the torso in there. There should be a waist swivel, and it's kind of hard to get him to move in there. But he does have that swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart. He can kick forward. Only so far. The leg can pop off. Again, it is a former Build-A-Figure piece, so that can happen. But the leg's only going to come out that far. It doesn't really go back. You got the upper thigh cut in there. A single jointed knee gives you that much bend there. Not a whole lot. There is a little bit of a swivel at that knee as well. The foot does have a little bit of swivel in there. Doesn't really hinge down a whole lot. Doesn't really hinge up a whole lot. Doesn't really pivot a whole lot, and has peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Very limited figure, but again, I think with these ones, it's just kind of good where it just kind of stands there and looks pretty good and doesn't do a whole lot else. Okay, so here we have the three different Joe Fixit figures all together. Again, this is more just a different skin for the Hulk for the Avengers video game. This is that Walmart exclusive Joe Fixit deluxe figure. And then we have this new Joe Fixit figure. They're all essentially the same exact figure with the exception of the head sculpts being different. They have the same feet, the same legs, the same arms, the same coats. Different coat, actually. This is a more... I didn't realize this at first. He does, in fact, actually have a different coat. The collar piece and the tie is a separate piece, but the inner torso should kind of be the exact same. But it is a different jacket. I was thinking it was the exact same. You could tell by the difference in the pockets, and then, of course, no pockets, square handkerchief there. So, different jacket, but essentially the same exact figure. I want to kind of throw in the Gray Hulk figure that was in the Bruce Banner 2-pack. That was pretty recent. As you can see there, it's a little bit taller than the suited body ones, and I think are a little bit better. These ones just don't really move around a whole lot, whereas those Hulk figures move around a fair amount. What I want to do is I want to see if some of these other Hulk heads will actually fit on the Gray Hulk body. So I'm going to pop that off, because this is my second time recording it, by the way, because I kept getting confused, because the heads all kind of went on there like so nicely together and fit and everything, and I was confusing myself like crazy. But it looks like, oh, okay, so that is not going to work. That's why the peg is way too big. to get this to work. It is not going to pop on there. Those heads are just not going to work. That is unfortunate. Why could they not have done it to where that could work? I don't really know. I guess maybe this peg would be kind of already an existing peg that they would not have been able to change. So kind of we have that there. I was hopeful that you would be able to swap those heads, but unfortunately it just cannot. But what we probably could do is that Grey Hulk head will sit in there on the Patch figure quite nicely, but although it's truly not necessary if you have like these two head sculpts together. They're very similar in size. This one just has like the mega like eyebrows that kind of stick out of his head. That's really the difference there. So unfortunately those don't exactly work, but you could swap these heads around, you know, to give you the different look. And then if you wanted to kind of swap that out, if you Dremel the inside peg holes of these, you would be able to get these to go onto that body. So unfortunate. Would have been nice if you could have swapped those around. Okay, so that is my review of the Wolverine 50th Anniversary 2-pack of Patch and Joe Fixit. A fun one, sure. A necessary one, I would say not. Very memorable when we think of kind of Wolverine throughout the years. It gives him the Patch look. So from that standpoint, cool, awesome. But they're just not as dynamic as other action figures. They don't move around as nicely. They look cool, sure, if you just kind of get them to stand there, because you're not really going to get them into pose real well. So they're there. So I think, in my opinion, this is one that can be an easy skip for a lot of folks. But then I think some folks will really want to pick it up. If whether you're a fan of Hulk and Joe Fixit in general, or just Wolverine, this might be the one for you. But again, in my opinion, it's kind of a pass on it unless you absolutely need them. But you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.